I'm Ali Asadullah, a freelance writer and journalist here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Since September 11th, the public has been inundated with information about Islam and Muslims. Many Americans are confused about who Muslims are and what their religion, Islam, actually teaches them. In this program, we hope to go beyond the front page headlines and radio sound bites to learn what is really going on in the minds of American Muslims. We will talk with 7 Muslims from around the Bay Area. They are from various walks of life, different cultures, backgrounds, and ages, but they all have one thing in common. They are all American Muslims. Muslims comprise many nationalities and cultures, ranging from African, Asian, Middle Eastern, Arab, European, and also American. Drive through any major U.S. city, and you are sure to find many Islamic centers, schools, and mosques scattered throughout the landscape. Close to 40% of all Muslims in America are of African American descent. One of our first interviewees is Naima Baton, an African American convert who has been Muslim for about 25 years. Naima is a community development consultant in the city of Oakland. We asked her about her initial reaction after the news of the terrorist attacks on September 11th.
It was hard to believe that it was actually happening, and I just felt a state of just personal loss, because I immediately started thinking about how many thousands of people work in that building, and it was very, very frightening for that reason. I think that it was more a sense of disbelief than anything else.
We also talked to Adil Iqbal, a 16-year-old Pakistani-American Muslim who was a junior in high school, to get his reaction to the attacks on the World Trade Center and Pentagon.
Right when I heard, it was I was actually sleeping when it happened, because it was on the East Coast, and we were sleeping, and we got a call from my uncle, and my uncle said, "Turn on the TV." He just wanted to hear our voice, because he doesn't live in America. He just wanted to hear that we were all right. So we woke up and we turned on the TV, and there was, like, on every channel there was smoke and these buildings and these airplanes and whatever. They were all on TV, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. I can't believe that happened. And I just hoped there was no mention of a Muslim name, Arab name, or whatever. Someone saying that Muslims or Arabs did this. And it turned out that in a couple of hours that happened.
Many Arabs and Muslims had hoped that the blame for the attacks on the World Trade Center and Pentagon would not fall on them, as it mistakenly did when the Murrah Federal Building was bombed in Oklahoma City in 1996. But unlike Oklahoma City, the perpetrators of the latest act of terror appear to actually have been Arabs and Muslims. The suspected mastermind of the September 11th attacks, Osama bin Laden and his al-Qaeda network, based in Afghanistan. The city of Fremont is home to the largest Afghan population in the United States. Another one of our interviewees is Fareed Senzai, an Afghan American who is studying political science at Oxford University. We asked Fareed how he felt about the news of the terrorist attacks.
So as an American, I was, of course, terrified that such an act could happen in New York City. But as a Muslim, I was fearful and a bit of scared of what the backlash could potentially be for Muslims living in this country. I know in the past, when these sort of incidents happen, right away there is an assumption that the perpetrators are Muslim or Middle Eastern, and in this case I felt that if the media jumped to that conclusion right away, there would be a backlash against the Muslim community in this country.
We also spoke with Shireen Sinar, a second-year law student at Stanford University, to get her opinion on the media's coverage of the attacks.
I think, frankly, the news media reporting of these events is pretty awful, and it depends on the source. Some sources, especially print media, I don't think is quite as bad, even though there too there are a lot of problems. But especially like TV coverage on Fox News and CNN has been really sensational and misleading. And not just that, I think they take it as their purpose to almost serve as a voice for the American government, which is really, really disturbing, that you expect your news media to be objective and to look behind what's going on, especially at a time when there is such a danger of just being rah-rah-rah American chauvinist. And rather than providing an objective counter to to the party line, I think they are really contributing to it and just playing it up. And that's really disturbing when an institution you expect to be the critical voice is just trumpeting a line that you are hearing from other sources. And this is particularly with regard to the war in Afghanistan, and how there's almost no voice of objection or criticism or even just questioning, is this the right course to do? It's also true with the attack on civil liberties in the U.S., that the news media seems to think, as a whole, that anything is okay in a time of emergency, and they're not looking twice and seeing what's really happening.
Adil Iqbal is part of a Muslim youth think tank, and one of his responsibilities is to monitor the media and its portrayal of Islam and Muslims.
Muslims have been defamed, they've been called bad things, bad examples of what Islam has been given. For example, if you just look at the first day of the attacks, there was a tape of Palestinian people cheering in the streets, yet that was just a small amount of the actual entire Palestinian people who had vigils and prayers for those that died. But the American media shows this small group representing the entire Palestinian population. And what does that tell the American public? It tells them that Muslims like seeing dead people, like seeing terror acts. And when people in America see things on TV, see the news reporting it, they're going to believe it. And that just has a negative impact on Islam as a whole, and especially on the American Muslims, because the American people are the ones seeing it on TV and having Muslim people around them, and it affects those people.
We spoke to Iman Faraj Allah, a Palestinian American who started a helpline for victims of anti-Muslim and anti-Arab hate crimes after the September 11th attacks.
The reporting was very, very unfair towards Muslims, and unfortunately, it's all what you could see is what is really happening in ground zero. At the same time, all what you can hear is Muslims, Islam, and Islamic and Arabs and Palestinians. These are the three, words that you kept all the time hearing: is ground zero, Islam and Muslims, and Arabs, Palestinians. And I think the media really played a major role in increasing the hate crimes against Muslims and Arabs in the Bay Area, as well as all over the United States. I think, especially the big outlets